Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Phoenix Draconis, and this is Kaon Reviews. As you saw in the intro, today's review video is going to focus on Transformers Rise of the Beast, Beast Alliance, Arcee, and Cheetor. And I have to admit, I was not planning on getting this. However, I was visiting a local toy store in my area, Buddy's Toys and Collectibles here in San Antonio, and I saw the figure in robot mode, and I'm like, "Oh, that is nice! I definitely got to get her." I was kind of impressed because I have not yet been able to find the core class, and Neo Labs is no longer active on YouTube, and I have yet to been able to contact him to see if he could do some 3D add-ons for me. So at this point, I figured, well, let me go ahead and try a different avenue. And when I saw that figure, I'm like, ooh, I gotta check her out. So I went ahead, and I really wasn't planning on finding her, but lo and behold, I had wound up running into her at Walmart, and I went ahead and snagged her. So there she is in her open packaging, both in her vehicle mode as well as Cheetor. Nice digital renderings of her here. Her running on this side, a close-up of her face on this side, and where it says Beast Weaponizer 2-pack says the same thing in multiple languages. And on this side, you see the digital renderings of both Cheetor in Cheetah mode as well as weapon mode, and then Arcee, both robot, vehicle, and her holding Cheetor, the weaponized Cheetor. So not too bad. So let's go ahead, take one final look, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get her opened up. And there they are, and as you saw in the packaging, as I showed you earlier, they are as they appear. Cheetor in beast mode, and I have to say, not too bad. Some nice little paint applications on them here. Trying to go ahead and make sure that you're able to see him clearly. Really good molded detail on here, but he's not all that articulate. As you can tell, he doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion. He does have some kitty paws here that do articulate. Everything's on a ball joint in this case, but there's no head rotation, no bend at the joints here, so it's kind of a static figure in a way. So that's Cheetor right there, and here we have Arcee, where vehicle mode is well, it is what it is, really. It does roll a bit. It's got some good detail on here. Not a whole lot of... There's some molded detail, I have to say, but there is a lot of robot kibble sticking out here. So, yeah, not too bad. So, yeah, the vehicle mode could have done a little bit more there. So there they are. I'm going to go ahead and just lower this down a bit. All right. So, yeah. So let me go ahead and take a couple of pics here of the characters here, and I'll be right back, and we will do transformation. All right, now let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start off with Arcee, since Cheetor is basically going to be working in a weaponry capacity. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to detach the wheels down the center, and that's going to open up the arms. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and pull the legs open, and then just do that. Now at this point, all we gotta do is just pull this front section of the bike forward so it goes behind our seat, and then we'll just twist the legs like so. Do the same with the other. And then all we gotta do is just tab the arms, and it'll be a soft tab right there, and just and there we go. And just twist that one around, twist the hand, and there she is. And I just want to make sure that we got everything. Yep. Okay. So there is, oops. Luckily this is on a ball joint, so it can be put back. So there she is. Transformed. Though I do want to point out that I think the excuse me, there's just a lot of gray on her. I remember that there was some white on this. Of course, I can always go, I can look back on the packaging, but I've seen, yeah, there should be some white on there. I may look back on the movie again, just to be on the safe side. But as a figure, she's not too bad. They gave her some really good curves. Her head sculpt, and let's go ahead and zoom in on that. Not too shabby. Yeah, like I said, I think she needs a little bit of paint applications for her lips. Probably some white on some of her, on her helmet, her forearms, her shoulders, her hands, even her legs. Probably some decals that will transfer over from the bike itself. Speaking of which, we do have this if only these back wheels, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you can see what I'm talking about, how these wheels were kind of like raised up a bit. I really wish this was able to turn around so that way that could be shown off a bit. But this back here is, I guess. Now, I do know there's supposed to be a model kit of her coming out. I just don't recall when. But yeah, there she is. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at her articulation anyway. So there she is. Her head can turn around 360. She can look down just a bit. She can look up, but again, that's due to transformation. Her arms are on a ball joint, so they can go 360. It can go up only so far. And she does. Her arm can go a bit, and that's because that's also connected by a ball joint as well. She does have wrist rotation. There is no waist rotation. Her legs are also on a ball joint. They can kick up about maybe 45 degrees at most. Her legs can bend at around a little bit more than 90 degrees. There is no ankle tilt, no pivot of any kind. So that is about it. She has no weapons save for Cheetor. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and bring the kitty out. As you can see, like I mentioned earlier, he's just really static. Very little articulation of any kind. So, in this case, to get him transformed into weapon mode, you just push down on the head. Oh, first things first. Before we get down that part, there is this handle, which you push up, then push down the head, and that will not only release, but it will also reveal the blades on here. And then at that point, you just turn his legs over. Now on my copy, the legs are really tight. So, and then on this one, you just turn the legs up like so. And there you go. There is his weapon. Now, this can be ported in one of two ways in robot mode. It can be ported right here in this port right there. And all we gotta do is try and get the peg to stay on. So we just plug that in. If it will plug in. Wow. There we go. So this will be plugged in like so. And yeah, that is her weapon. Of course, if she has it on her forearm, or I should say on her forearm. Of course, she can also hold it like a blaster, which, yeah. Honestly, if they're going to give her a stabbing weapon, they should have taken the port to be, or at least put another port that would come out from his rear so she can hold it like a sword. So more than likely I will have it like this. So there you go. There she is, ready to do battle. Now there is another way that you can go ahead and connect that weapon. Give me a moment to show you. So, in vehicle mode, she's able to go ahead and hold her weapon by using the hands here. So that way she can be able to zoom around with the weapon. Not too bad, though of course it does put on too much weight, so you can't really, well, actually it does work out. Okay. So Yeah, not too bad. Cool. So there she is, weaponized even in vehicle mode. So give me a moment to go ahead and take some shots, and I'll come back to do a side-by-side comparison. And here we have Arcee before and after. So as you can see, she's a little bit taller in this variation. Uh, Not to mention, this particular Arcee, had her head's been upgraded, so she's got a different look. This one, not too bad. Like I said, I still say that there should have been some white instead of gray with the parts. So why they didn't do that, I have no idea. But nonetheless, they do pretty much scale up pretty well. So there they are, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a couple of side-by-side shots. All right, so let me go ahead and bring in another figure so we can do a size comparison as well with this. Here we have her with the mainline Optimus. She seems a little bit too big to scale properly with this one, so not too bad. But let's go ahead and bring out another mainline figure. And here we have her side by side with Nightbird, and it seemed to scale pretty well. So, not too bad. So, let me go ahead and get this spot out of the way, and I will come back with my final thoughts as well as my score. Here we have both Cheetor and Arcee in their respective modes, and I have to say the Arcee figure as a figure is not too bad. Could do with some improvement, I have to admit. Definitely, paint applications are definitely a needed must. Also, some additional articulation for Cheetor, especially around the legs, would be good. Also, an additional post, especially if you're going to want to use his transform bladed mode as a sword. So that's what I'm thinking on. So I have to say, on a scale of 1 through 10, if I have to give it a score, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5. I know it's a low score, and for a figure that actually impressed me when I saw it, over at Buddy's, for it to have such a low score, I was really expecting more. And I have to say I was a bit disappointed. But, as a standalone figure, she's not bad. But again, she requires a lot of improvement. And I mean, if I were a downright customizer, I would have already started with. She would have become basically an action master by the end of the customization process, especially when it comes down to that third back wheel. Paint applications would have been also done. Like I said, she definitely needs some customization. And again, with Cheetor, yeah, he definitely needs some more articulation. He is very stiff around the main joints on the shoulders and the hips. but there's no articulation at the joints where the knees are at. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm giving it a 5. So that's my opinion. That's my take on the figure. I want to hear from you. Have you been able to pick this figure up? Now, I know it's available out in the wild. So let me ask you, if you have picked it up, do you like it? Do you hate it? Leave me a comment about it in the comment section down below. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Click onto the bell icon so you can be notified when I post up new videos. Now, since this video will be posted up this coming Friday, I do want to say this will be the last video, not just of the week, but of the year. And with that, I'm also hoping that subscribership would have risen between the time I filmed this, which is on a Sunday, to the time it airs, which will be Friday. And if I do reach my stretch goal of 500 subscribers before the end of this year, I will be giving away this bad girl over here. And believe me, she, along with Cosmos, is extremely hard to find. And from what I've seen out in the wild, they are asking for redonkulous prices, especially if she has been found at places like Ross for under $10. So here's your chance of getting her free. All you have to do is, as you see the instructions appear on the screen, you just send an email to the email address scrolling above. In the subject, you put down 500 in numerics. In the body, you put down Crasher. No more, no less. This is limited to 1 entry per person, and it's also limited to within the continental United States. Now, this contest will continue on to all the way through December 31st of this year, up until 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, no matter what part of the U.S. you are in, be aware that the time that this contest ends will be at 11:59 Central Standard Time. So make sure you are aware when you send this out. I look forward to seeing you all within the new year. So if I don't say it come the 31st, let me say it now. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. This is Phoenix Draconis, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace.